Hi, I'm Kim from thatsweetraw.com if we haven't met before, and if we have, welcome back. Today, I would like to have a conversation with you about your relationship with your voice. So I asked a question over on Facebook, how would you describe your relationship with your voice in one word? And the answers that I got were incredibly varied, either end of the spectrum. We had complicated and neglected, we had friends, we had turbulent, scared, connected, estranged, improving, sad, and almost like a mother-teenager relationship. And the reason that I ask this question is because most singers don't really think about this dynamic. So you might see your voice as simply a part of you, or a tool for expression, or a skill that you're cultivating. But so much of what I work on with singers now is this relationship with their voice, and what friction or what misunderstandings, what conflict is in that relationship that is then having a knock-on effect, not only to their sound and then what they're able to do with their voice, but also their confidence and their self-belief. Because your voice isn't just vocal cords and breath or lungs and tongue. We have countless stories woven through us about what is good, what is allowed, how we can be seen and heard. And one of the biggest ones is what our expectations are, and then what we make it mean if we don't meet them. So I'd love for you to come down this rabbit hole with me for a second. And you're going to imagine that your voice is a person and that you are dating them. You're in a relationship with them. So you and your voice are in partnership. So how do you speak to it? How do you speak to or about your voice? What are the common words or phrases that you utter about your voice, or even think about your voice? Are they encouraging? Are they generous? Are they curious? Or are they frustrated, like blaming, even cruel sometimes? And think about if it was a partner, if you spoke to a partner the way that you speak to your voice or speak about your voice, would they hang around? Would they show up for you in the way that you really want them to? What about what are your expectations of your voice? Do you give it grace? Do you allow it to have off days? Do you take care of it when it's sick or tired? Or does it need to be perfect every single time, or you will stop loving it? Does it need to perform like a dancing monkey whenever you want it to? Do you push through sickness and fatigue? And if you only loved a partner on the condition that they always did everything right in exactly the way that you wanted them to, is that a fair way to treat them? What time and attention do you give to your voice? Does it get plenty of quality time with you where you let it explore and dance and play, where you actually enjoy the process or enjoy each other's company? Or is it neglected? Or is it only given attention right before a gig or a recording session? And even then, it's under so much pressure to nail it that it can't actually be an enjoyable situation. How do you treat your voice when you're taking what feels like a big risk? So when you're performing for the first time in a while, or you're going for an important audition, how do you treat it in moments of heightened emotion or heightened sensation in your body? Do you talk to it sweetly? Do you let it know that you're really just both here to do your best, that you're proud of it for stepping up? Or do you threaten that it better get over its fear and it better be amazing, or you will give up on it, giving it that ultimatum? So you might think that this personification of your voice and your relationship with it is kind of silly. That's okay. But I did want to highlight one of the biggest points of hurt and frustration and then perceived failure amongst singers. Because putting yourself down, putting your voice down is never going to give you the confidence that I know that you're craving. Yelling at the scared parts of yourself is never going to get them to calm down. And giving yourself an ultimatum like perfection or bust is never going to get the results that you're after. And the tension, the shakes, the cracks, the wobbles, whatever it is that you're experiencing that frustrates you about your voice, that leads to these kind of angry conversations or this neglect or this disappointment. All of those things are ways that your body is communicating to you that there is something to resolve here. And I know that for me, when I was younger, my teacher always went to technique to solve these, and it's not always technique. And unfortunately, in those moments where we feel like we've kind of made a mistake, we tend to go straight towards anger or feeling disappointment or telling a story that we're not cut out for this. We don't tend to have a clear enough head to just take a breath and ask, why? Why could this be happening? Why could my voice be doing this? And sometimes it's an efficiency thing, so a technique thing. It might involve the ribs, the breath, the vocal cords, the way you're thinking about creating the sound. But the more work that I do with singers, the more problems I find are solved by asking more questions around expectations and fears and doubts, rules, control, and the ability to hold sensation and emotion in the body and let that fuel the sound. So there's a lot that you can explore around this, but I would love to keep it simple and ask you to start with that initial question that I posed. So how would you describe your relationship with your voice in one word? And write a comment below. Let me know in the comment below. And the second question is, how would you like your relationship to be between you and your voice? So let me know what it is now and what you would like it to be. And you can have a descriptor word, or you can actually think about it in this personified way of an actual relationship. So would you like to be lovers and have this exciting energy of desire and discovery? Would you like it to be more of a companion relationship where it's soft and nurturing and that you're always there for each other no matter what? Do you just want to be friends? Do you want to be its cheerleader? Do you want to be its caregiver? So as I said, leave a comment below. Let me know what your answers were to both, where you're at now, where you'd like to be. I would love to hear and offer any support that I can. And then once you realize that, it's about starting to shift this dynamic. So can you start to alter your language, whether or not it's up here, whether it comes out of your mouth, whether it's with the way that you speak about your voice to other people? And notice what happens to your sound, and even more importantly, your experience of singing when you start to catch that, when you start to alter your language, where you start to change this relationship dynamic between you and your voice. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. I'd love to hear from you, and I hope you have a beautiful day.